Hello and welcome to Fine Arts with Besim. I'm Besim, your host. And today we're going to be starting our portrait of Pope Shenouda. As you recall, last time we did the grid and we transferred the image from the small picture. And I transferred it here on my canvas so that I can paint it in my oil paints. So to start with, I got myself a small palette, and I don't want to use this palette just once, so I'm going to put some tinfoil and just wrap it around my palette like so. That way, as soon as I'm done, I can just throw away the tinfoil with the paints and start over again. Now the colors I have here are white. It's titanium white. It's the whitest white you can get. Naples yellow, flesh tint, burnt sienna, raw umber, and a cadmium yellow. And all these colors combined would give me the most realistic skin tones. So the way you organize your palette is, first and foremost, you start with the white, and you need the most. You need most of the white. So you put it in the center. Naples yellow around. Don't need too much Naples yellow. Okay, flesh tint. Burnt sienna. The raw umber. And last, the cadmium yellow. Now I have a few brushes here. Some are for larger surfaces, and some of them are for more detail. These are finer brushes. They're 1 and 2 and 3/8 inches of brush. Now I like them with slant, but anyone, you choose what you like. Make sure they are made for oil paints, because they are different than acrylics and watercolors. And in here I have a little bit of linseed oil, and this is a very fine special oil for oil colors. And you can mix it to make it run smoothly, and it gives it a little bit of a glossy effect. And in here are all my brushes. Actually, I filled it with odorless turpentine. Odorless because I can't handle the smell of turpentine. It's very strong. It's actually pretty toxic. And I put all my brushes in here. That way I don't have to wash them every time I'm done. Now, it's probably a good idea to maybe take a spare canvas or anything. You can take anything and prime it with regular house primer, and just test out the oil colors. They do feel a lot smoother than acrylics and regular craft paints. So I'm going to take my very fine brush here, and I'm going to start my painting of Pope Shenouda. And what I did actually is I used my laptop, so that way I can zoom in as much as I need. That way I can get as much detail as possible. Now the best way to start this is to actually start from the top and go down. I'm going to start with the flesh, so just the forehead. I'm going to run my brush very finely on the lines. Now the reason we start from the top is because your hand is always resting on the painting itself, and oil, as you know, it doesn't dry very quickly. It actually takes a few days for the pigment to actually completely solidify on the surface of the canvas. So you roughly put all the lines in. Outlines, I should say. You can use a little bit of the turpentine. It also makes it runny. Sometimes too runny. And the good thing about oil paints is that it's very, very forgiving. So you can make 100 mistakes and you can always go back and just fix them. Back to my oil. Now mixing the flesh tint, you need a few colors. Obviously, you use more white where it's a little bit lighter and more of the browns where there's shade. So you put the white down, the flesh tint, the pinkish looking color, touch of the orange, touch of the Naples yellow. Now, if it's a little more pink, you just kind of got to keep playing with it until you get what your portrait needs. In this case, I probably need a little more white. And I will start at the forehead. Yellow and white. And it's similar to drawing. You're kind of doing less detail at first, and then you finish it off with the detail afterwards. Now I'm going to get a little bit darker near the eye, right here. It's just getting a little bit darker. So I will add burnt sienna, raw umber, and just mix it into my skin tone mixture here. Side of the forehead there is also darker. Now it's always interesting to have a picture that that has all kinds of lighting. This one here is pretty good. That's why I chose it. Both the quality of the image I chose is good. That way you can zoom in without the picture losing quality. And at the same time, there's a lot of lighting and very interesting things going on with the face. I also like the very serious look the Pope has. And you don't always have to use canvas. You can use board as long as it's primed well. The reason I chose canvas is that it goes well with oil colors because it has very fine grains where the oil color can actually sit on it, and it gives it a nice texture as well. Again, just putting blocks of both shade and light. And then afterwards, I'll meld them all together nicely. And don't be afraid to experiment with colors. You can always go on top of it. I'm just doing the dark spots on the Pope's face. I'm ignoring the eyebrows for now, because I can always go on top of it. It looks like it's coming along well. I think we'll continue next time with this portrait. We'll start with the eyes and move our way down. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.